This session we have seen like what is the main categories and what we'll get in the three-tier architecture or what we are going to learn and what is about front end and back end. So today we'll start with the first topic, HTML. Okay. So what is meant by HTML basically? What is the full form of HTML? So at least few people have idea about what is meant by HTML. So, but what is the meaning of hypertext or what is the meaning of markup language? Does anybody have any idea? Okay, just take a real-time example. I want to order a phone of iPhone 15. I want to order. Okay, I decided to go with the Amazon. Okay, Amazon website. I decided e-commerce. So, explain me steps from starting to ending. What I'll do. Stepwise, what I need to do. First. Okay. Okay. Search for mobile app. Click open the particular model. Add to cart. Checkout. Payment. Right. These are the steps. But when we are going through the steps, the steps are going just by when we think. Okay, you go. If you think like that, it will go. No. What we are doing. Particularly, we are events. We are passing like clicking. Every time, first I'll click on app to open the app. Then I'll click on the search bar to open a search bar. Then I'll search. I'll use the keypad. Use the keyboard. Then I'll click on search button to search that particular model. If I find some, then I'll scroll. If I find a particular model, I'll click again on that model. And what happens? It will open my particular model. Right? Then add to cart. Same thing. Click event. So if you see any web applications, it is most about links only. Right? So if there is no links, do you think you can move forward from one page to another? No, there is no other way than links. So if you see, the most of the web applications are completely depending on these links. So these are called as the hyperlinks. We call it as jumping links also we call them, because it's just allowing to hyper from one tab to another tab, one page to other page, and one product to other product. So this is, as the web development web application is all about hyperlinks. So this HTML hypertext is nothing but that hyperlinks. We are considering that is the keyword that we are mentioning. Okay. So as the web application is completely dependent on hyperlinks, so and that web applications are being developed by this particular language. So we use that name as hypertext. So then what is meant by markup language? For example, okay, if I was teaching you something, okay, if I was teaching you, I thought you like this is like, or I should just go with intermediate chemistry, have idea. I thought like, okay, it is ammonia, it is zinc. I said by words, you understood that. But I started writing some design. Okay. What happened? What is the scenario there? We don't know what is this line, what is that two dots, what is that C on top of it. She'll tell that, okay, it is two atoms, it is three atoms. We'll be confused. See here, what happened? So it is not that much understandable by both the people. The symbol, whatever they are writing and whatever we are reading, is it easily readable? We can't read it. Same thing with the language also. For example, if you're talking in a particular language, okay, and the whatever you're writing is in a different language, okay, is it possible for the opposite person to understand easily? No. So that what is this markup languages will do is, the markup language is nothing but the language that can be understandable by both humans who we write and also the people, the web applications. So whichever rendering them. Okay. Simply to say, the web application, the language that can be readable and understandable by the web applications and the humans. Those are called as the markup languages. And here, whatever we write, the content is not getting compiled. Okay, that is the main point you need to remember. It is not compiling anything, the HTML. So it's just whatever you write, it will just print it out in the same way in the web application. So that is what called as the markup language. These type of languages are called as markup languages. Okay, when you go with Java, Python, these are not like that. So this will execute and then they'll provide the output. So these are not like that. Whatever you write, for example, if I write like Manoj Kumar, it will print the same thing in the browser. It's not going to compile it. So as it is a combination of this markup language and this hyperlinks. So it is, that's why it is named as the hypertext markup language, HTML, and the current version is standardized version is HTML5. Okay, but if someone asks how many versions, it's not 6, it's 7 only. Okay, HTML 1.2, HTML 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, DHTML, dynamic HTML, XHTML, and HTML5. So HTML5 is the standardized version, and it is now compatible with each and every browser. Okay, including the browsers that you didn't even know. Most of the browsers supported by this only. Why it is that much popular? Because, as I already mentioned, browser will not understand whatever the language you write. We have only 3 languages ignore. One is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It will understand only these 3. Apart from this, it is not going to understand any other thing that you give to the browser. Even if you give also, the JavaScript machine will compile it and it will convert that into the JavaScript readable format, and it will apply to our browser. Clear? So that is what about hypertext markup language. Clear? So next we'll see, for example, okay, JavaScript, we know what is HTML, but where we write, for example, in college days, if we write an exam, where we'll see the result there? In the result board. Okay, pass, fail, based on that we'll get the result, right? In the same way here, if we are writing something, where exactly we need to write, or what is the output we'll get, or who will give us the output, so that we need to know first. Okay, for example, whichever the whether you're front-end developer or back-end developer, first thing whenever you want to write some code, what you need is a coding platform, we call it as. Okay, so here I was using one of the coding platform called as Visual Studio. Simply to say, it's like an app. So for example, for watching movies, you use Netflix, Prime, and all. For talking calls, you use the phone app. And for what we will do? And for chatting, Insta, WhatsApp, right? And for location, what we'll use? Google Maps, any maps it may be. So in the same way here also, we have whatever the language you may have, but what is holding them all? The all apps are holding by one single device, mobile. Okay, here also like that only. You may have any languages, but each and every language will have a particular coding platform. That doesn't mean that each and everyone will have a different one. For example, if we choose with Visual Studio, which I was using, it is compatible with almost 90% of the frameworks, 90% languages. So that's front end and back end. It will support. Okay, it will support and help us. So, but few developers will feel that Insta is good to chat. Few people will feel that WhatsApp is good to chat, and people will think that Google Pay is good to chat when they got blocked in all their sites, right? So in the same way here, it depends on what you are. For example, if you go with the coding platforms, the first one, always 90% of the developers in this world are preferred with the VS Code, nothing but Visual Studio Code, which is a free source. Okay, it is not a paid one, it's a completely free source. Okay, Visual Studio. And there is a difference. There is Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. You need to be careful with which one you are downloading. Visual Studio is about your front end, whatever you are dealing with. Visual Studio Code is the one which deals with the servers. Okay, that also it's free software only, but it deals about servers. You don't need to deal about servers. Okay, so don't ever confuse. Just type like, okay, Visual Studio Code. You'll get a different version because symbols also will be same. So this is the symbol of Visual Studio Code, which you will get. You can directly get it in Chrome. If you just search for download Visual Studio, you will get the official website you will get, and download from the official website only, because per day I'll get 3 updates to this app. Whenever I close and open an app, I'll get a new update. So that much updated this app. Why? Because as it is the 90% of the coders in this world are using this means, we should understand how particularly how updated it should have to be. Because some may be Python developers, some may be backend developer, different developers. Some new feature came, immediately they need to add it. That's why per day it will get 10 updates minimum if you are using. So, and it is a more easy way and the more friendly looking at everything. I don't need to worry much about writing anything. It is easy to handle the coding. So Visual Studio is one of the thing. Or else some people will go with Eclipse. Eclipse is also one of the coding platform. Some people will go with sublime text, or some people still writing notepad. Notepad generally, in systems. Some people are still writing in notepad and save it off. Save it and they'll open in any browsers. Notepad, and there is a notepad plus plus. It is different. Notepad plus plus also support most of the almost web development languages. Notepad plus plus, then brackets is there. Okay, so etc. Like this, we have Atom. Okay, Atom is there. Almost hundreds of frameworks is there. Each person, there are many people who design their own coding platforms also, but 90% people prefer go with the Visual Studio. So you better, if you are starting a fresh, Visual Studio is a better one. And before going into Visual Studio, I will not prefer Visual Studio. You better go with the Notepad. Why? Because Visual Studio, what is the advantage is that shortcuts. The practical thing, if you're learning something in shortcut, definitely will not remember it for sure. So that's why I don't recommend Visual Studio for the starting people, at least for 1 week. Why? Because Visual Studio, just imagine you started your work. Okay. You typed one letter, it given the output. What happens? Gone. Every time. Type, I got the output, gone. I'll not remember what is the exact structure also after 5 days. Why? Because okay, if I press this button, I'll get my output. Why I need to remember what is the code is it? Same thing happens with the Visual Studio. It gives shortcut for everything. So that's why it is more popular. And also I'll not recommend for anyone to starting stage. First 1 or 3 days, try to go with Notepad, because Notepad will not recommend anything. You have to write each and every keyword. You need to write starting, ending, everything need to be handled by yourself. So what happens? The structure, maybe when you come into the job, they'll ask in the manual what does it mean by meta type. If you are using Visual Studio, you don't know, okay, what is this meta type? I press tab, I'll get the structure. What is he's asking? But if you just imagine you're writing in the notepad, Visual Studio structure, then you will know, okay, what is this particular line I was typing? So what it means, you will get that interest by yourself. Nobody need to tell you to find it out. So that's why go with the notepad, general notepad, which is there in your systems. Okay. Okay. So now we got the coding platform, but what is the subject we need to write? The exam will write, however, which subject we need to write? We need to know, right? For example, maths, in which paper I need to write? Or else, for example, with physics, or M1, M2, where I need to write? We need to know that, right? In the same way here, firstly, anything you take in your system is a document. Okay. For example, what is the difference between a PDF and a Word file? PDF and Word file, you are seeing from past 5-6 years, right? Maybe definitely if you have a system or mobile. So what is the difference between a PDF file and a normal document file? Tell. Or else tell me what is the difference between PDF and Excel. What is that one? Maatladandi. Huh? At least basic idea. PDF is not editable. Word is editable. Is also an answer. You can tell. Oh. Okay. So if you see whether it is a PDF or Word or folder or any text file, one thing you need to remember here is all are documents only. If you are uploading, it will consider all as documents only. Even folder will be considered as document only. But what making it different from one to each other? Then if all are documents only, why PDF is not editable and why Word is editable and why Excel is different, why PPT is different. So it's all about what is the thing. For example, you people are there. So all are boys only, all are humans, but what making the difference between you? Tell me what is the difference between for these people? Okay, structure is one thing. Then height, that's not structure. Structure comes under this all, and what is the difference? If I want to differentiate you people, what I if I want to differentiate, okay, if I want to contact particular person, what is the medium? Names, religions, maybe, or else like we don't want to go that topic. Okay, religions and names. Other number also I can consider. Okay, he has a unique other, he has a unique other. So here what happening? All are boys, all are humans only, but their name and their what is say their religion or something, whatever it may be. Mainly their name is the one which is differentiating each and person in front of me. I don't want to call with any religion or caste or anything. I can directly call, okay, particular Mohan or Manoj or anything. I'll directly call with the name. So that is what making the difference between you people, basically, in front of someone. In the same way, when you go with the computers also, whatever you do, okay, whatever you see, whatever you create, everything is a document. But the extension that you give end of that file, that is what makes what it looks like. For example, I have created 3 files. All the 3 files name is Manoj only. But one I saved it like Manoj.pdf. One I saved it Manoj.doc. One I saved with Manoj.xl. What happens? So one is a PDF file there when I open it. One is a Word file. One is a Excel file. So here file names is same. Created document is also same. But what making the difference? It's just the extension is what making its difference. For example, in the same way, if you see here, it was taken in the form of MD. That is the extension, nothing but text file. I was using iOS, it is a MD. If it is a Windows, .txt you will have. Okay, when you create a file, txt. Now it is a text file. For example, now what I'll do, I'll make it save as, instead of main categories, okay, let me create a new file only. So I created a new file. By default, it is a text file. Okay, in your Windows or Mac, anything you take iOS, by default, when you create a file, it will be text only. So when I save it, I given like introduction. Okay. So name can be given anything, even if you give your girlfriend name, you can boyfriend name, your auntie name, any name you can give. But the thing is the extension that you're gonna give there. So that what makes the difference between one document to the other document. If I give like .html, okay, unable to open it. Okay, so if you see here, it is in one format. What is about this one? If you see HTML file, right? Empty file I created. Just I'll do one more thing. I'll take one more file. So I'll save it like same. Introduction dot I given as CSS. Are you able to see the difference in symbols also here? So HTML is indicated by brackets, sorry, symbols greater than less than, and it is indicated by hashtag. Same way, for example, I create a new file and I'll save it like introduction dot, instead of giving any extension, first let's see what all the files formats you can get. If you see here, maybe you're learning JavaScript or something, but what all the file can be created into format? See, C++, C, hashtag, CSS, dot, Docker, Go language, or else you can see HSL, Ignore, Java, JavaScript, JSON file, less file. See these many things. Okay, even XML. Any file types, you can take it. Or if you want to go with Python, what is the simple thing? Py is the shortcut. So now it is a Python file. You can see the symbol also here clearly already. So now tell me, what is makes the difference between one document and other document? Extension. So in your system, everything is a document by default, but the extension is what makes difference between one person to, sorry, one document, other document. Okay. So everybody will have a girlfriend, but what makes difference between one girlfriend and other girlfriend? Her name. Okay, she is my girlfriend. She is his girlfriend. Okay, name will be there. She has someone, attire will be there. Maybe his girlfriend is beautiful. Maybe my girlfriend is like average. Like that, everybody will have the differentiation. Maybe she's Western. She's like completely traditional. Right? So all are girls only. All are girlfriends only. But what makes difference is the way how they are behave, right? In the same way, the extension is what decides how you should behave, whether you should behave as a CSS file or whether you should behave as a HTML file or you want to behave as a JavaScript file. It always completely depending on that particular extension that you give after that doc. After before that, you can put anything. You can put your name, you can put your website that you search in the late night, any name you can put it here. But the extension always matters, very important. That's what the key factor about any programming language that before you're writing. Choosing a coding platform is your choice, but giving the extension will be never your choice. Why? Because, for example, you want to write something in Python, You can't tell like, I can give extension like dot Python, PYTHON, or I can give like extension dot my girlfriend name. You can't give like that, right? It will tell that, okay, go and ask your girlfriend to compile your code. That's what it will tell. So whenever you're dealing with coding platform, you better choose yourself. It's not like you need to take this only, Visual Studio. You can took any platform you feel comfortable. But extension will be always dependent. Okay, it can't be changed. Maintain the proper extensions and naming convention. One should be always appropriate. For example, I was starting with introduction. So automatically nobody should have to tell me, okay, this is the introduction. I can go with introduction.css. So for example, you're doing a task which is about student list. So then what you need to do? You can't do like, okay, task one, okay, task two. You can give like that. Nobody will say no. But just imagine I given like that. Student task one, task two, task three. In the same way, one more person created like student listing, employee list, okay, employee data. So by seeing this, immediately which will get attracted? Second one, why? Because if I ask like go to the employee list code and share me, you can directly say, okay, this is the employee list code file, click on it, get it. So here meaningful names is also matters. As nobody says anything, it doesn't mean that you can do however you give names. If you maintain a proper name, that way productivity comes into the picture. Even the simple names play a key role in interviews also. Okay, so don't forget that. So let me delete it. I don't want Python. The person who will deal you, he will. So it is a text file, introduction of HTML and CSS. Okay. So now if you see each and every file that we created so far are by default empty only. Okay. So I created my file. Okay. So for example, I written something. Okay. I can't inlet, I created stable. I can write anything here. For example, I write like my name I have written here. Okay. New keyboard and Manoj Kumar. So I have saved it. So now if I want to see the output, where I need to see this output? So that's why definitely browser is what where I can see this output. So I'll open this file in browser. What is the file name? Introduction dot. Maybe you can open it directly when you double click once you can open anything it may be. So this is the one. So as soon as I open it, did I got my name or not? Okay. For example, I delete it here. So now when I reload, so okay, did it affected here? No. Once I reload, it affected. It's gone. So, but do you think my page is completely empty now? By here it is empty. But when this HTML file go to the browser, do you think it will be empty? On the screen it is empty, but actually it is not an empty file. So whether you use structure or not in your local file, when it compile to the browser, when the browser takes the HTML file, it will add a structure to it. So that is where inspect developer tools comes into the picture. This is the word you need to remember for lifetime because it's where you need to debug and do everything. Okay, inspection, nothing but shortcut to developer tools also we call it as in our language, IT language, developer tools we call it as. So how you can open? So any browser it may be, whether it's Safari, Opera, or Chrome, Mozilla, anything it may be. Each and every browsers have a one option called inspect. Whenever you right click in any website, you may have seen this one. Inspect. Inspect is the one which we called as the developer tool. Whatever you want to debug, for the general people, it is a website. For us, it is what our main part. This is not our main part. It is the main part. Why? Because we need to deal with the developer tools on that. Okay. So if you see here, is my file is empty. See, this is the file. So elements, this file mentions about the whatever the elements have you created. For example, I saved something like this. Okay. And if I come and reload, see, I got some content or not. So if you see here, is my body is just have Manoj Kumar, but what else? What all I have here? HTML, there is a one word is there and two headings like head is there and body is there. Within that body, my content is created, right? And then I have again HTML. What is this? So this is what called as the basic structure of an HTML. Okay, when you are staying in a house, you are able to see only the walls. It doesn't mean that it is completely made of walls. The bricks are there behind it, and there is a structure which made that building to stay that much high, right? In the same way, HTML will also have a basic default structure always. Okay, even when you reading code from the local browser knows that there is a structure and it will create. Okay, so this is what the structure. So whenever, so now you need to know what each and every feature will mention here. For example, if you take elements, okay, let me go with Amazon. So I open Amazon and let me open inspect. So there is shortcut for inspect is Control Shift I. Windows, okay, Control Shift I. If you press, you look at this. So if you see here in my page, elements is very less code, but here if you see how much code is there, too much code is there or not. For example, what is this element basically is about? It will give us the feature of all the elements that are created on my visible on my web page. Now web page లో ఏవైతే కనిపిస్తున్నాయో I can handle all this అన్ని elements కిందనే ఉంటాయి. For example, I clicked on this and right clicked and clicked on inspect. Okay, so immediately see there is a line highlighted here, update location. Okay, so what I'll do, if I double click on that, so I double click on it. Now what I do, I'll type something. I'll type like Manoj Kumar and I pressed enter. So what happened there? Is it updated or not? So this inspect elements is nothing but it handles the whole design of your page here. Page, whatever the page the code got compiled, it will be converted into HTML structure, right? The whole structure will be under this HTML, these elements tab only. Okay, so for example, here let's see. Let me open this where I opened. Okay, so now if you see my price is like 599. So I'll just take a pointer. Let me inspect that, or else I can use pointer also, no issues. Now it is 599. I can make it like 200. So now what is the price? So if it is that much cheesy, why need to pay 1 lakh for the iPhone? I can just change rupees 10 rupees, add to cart. 10. Right. That's where, as I said, three-tier architecture we use. Why? Because maybe I can change the, see, there are two sides will be there always. As I said, front end and back end. In the other words, we can call it as client side and the server side. So client side is nothing but what you see in the front end. Okay, and the front end is the most vulnerable one and can be easily hacked or can be easily manipulated. So that's why we can't depend on the front end. See, now I change the price easily. I can even make it 0. But if, for example, just I was handling this logic in the front end, what happens? Automatically gone. Flipkart or Amazon, everybody will get for rupees 0. You'll open inspect, I did 0, order iPhone, iPad, anything. But here I have changed. So far I didn't render this page. Render is nothing but reloading. Okay, I didn't render this page. But once I rendered, or else once I open the same one, 500 is there, right? I try to open. So what is the price again here? 600. Why? Because as I already, if I reload here also, 500. So as I already mentioned to you yesterday, everything is about sending a response and receiving a response. So maybe you changed here, okay, but when you clicked on the particular link, it need to send a response to the backend. When that response went to the backend already have the price list of this, and on the particular link, what is the data it have? It already have like name, like ratings, like color. What else we have? And what is the price and what is the estimated date from delivery, everything already there. So even if you manipulate here, once the response went into the backend, it will send back the response with the original response. So in that again, what happens? It got changed. When I click on it, I was telling to open a file. So it did as soon as I said. So it opened the file, I click on it. A tab open, what happened? As soon as the tab is got opened, so it sent the original data. Again, it got changed. When I reload the page, what happens? It will send a response. Okay, user reload the page. So again, it will send the original data. Original data got replaced. So that is why client side maybe I can manipulate, but server side I can't manipulate until unless the backend server person sit and change in his database. Original Amazon database you need to change, right? So that is how this three-tier architecture work. Client side and server side will work. Server side you can't do anything, but client side you can manipulate very easily. So these elements is all about the manipulating of these whole things. This each one considered as one element. Image being one element, this price is one element. Each thing is created under one elements. If you see like div, span, a tag, like these are there. These are called as elements. Okay. So next one is the console. Console is the one which you can use as a many ways. So if you have any error in the browser or web page in the web application, where it will immediately show is console. Okay. Maybe some errors may be not shown direct. Some errors, maximum errors shows in the directly page only. But if it is not showing there, then definitely you need to check in the console. Console will give you the exact error. Okay, particular line there is error, and what kind of error it is, reference error, whatever the error it may be, it will clearly mention here. Okay, so console is what completely basically to say for this level, you can use it as the error dashboard. You can consider it as. So next one is the source. Source is nothing but what is the source of this particular web page, like the converted HTML files and the JavaScript files will be available here. For example, if you go to our page, so if you go to the source, what is the files I have? If you see the path, and I have only one file, okay, and you can get this file, you can download or do anything. But coming to Amazon also, see Amazon website, cloning Amazon website is not that much hard. You can make it in very easy way. Instagram app also you can create it very easy. It's basically created by using the React engine. Instagram app also we can do, but only problem is we may create the structure, but the data that we needed, we can't get that. Why? Because server, we don't have that server. So structure can be manipulated. As I said, a home, for example, just imagine a Honda City car can be converted into Lamborghini very easily. If you put 3 lakhs, it can be converted. But the engine power or the features that Lamborghini gives, is it getting that Honda City? No. So duplicating is easy, but getting that all the features is not possible. Okay. Even if you try hard also, he can't make it Lamborghini. Even if you get a Lamborghini engine also, he can't get it. Instead of that, he can buy a new Lamborghini. Right. So in the same way here, you may copy the structure by using the source code, but even that source code is also not completely appropriate. It will be minified. What is meant by minified? For example, just imagine you just got into a bus. Okay, when nobody is there, okay, you can sit in one person in one seat, but the bus is full and there are 200 people are there. What happened? You will not get even a single piece of space. You need to stand like no, raise your hands, stand. You don't have a space to breathe also. Nitrogen, carbon dioxide, everything will be there only. You don't have a space. So here why we are doing like that? We are just closing that space to occupy some other one. So that, for example, if one person is sitting in one seat, if 200 people want to go, per bus only 20 people. Next bus again 20. If 200 people want to go, 10 buses need to become, time wasted. And it will take more time. In the same, when it comes to the web applications also, for example, I written one code and there will be space will be there. Next line space will be there. For a local development, it is okay. But when it went into server, it will take some time. It doesn't mean that it is gone, it will not work. It will work, but it will take time. So that's why whenever you complete your code, when you're sending production, what happens? The code will be deploying time, the code will be build. What is this build generally do? It will remove that unwanted spaces, that spaces will be removed, and that whole code will be converted into a new format, minified format we call it. Okay, unwanted spaces and all, everything will be removed. And if there are any errors also during build time, we'll find it out. So like that, this code is completely minified code and such type. So you can't use that code in proper way also, it will not help. So that is what my source will give. Source will give the exact source of my web page, what all the scripting files we have. So network. So network is all about API calls that you're going to learn in the upcoming classes when you're dealing with the network. Is one of the important tab that we are going to, that a developer, every developer need to know. Which is here the success. When you click on a link, it is successful or failure. For example, I cleared everything. Now I clicked on this. see there is a, before it was empty, right? But now if you see, there are few things happen. Okay, post, a call has happened. Okay, a response is went and it came responses of 200. That means 200 is always success response. That means, okay, you clicked on a good link, and that link I got the response properly. Okay, that's what it mentioned. So that is how, see, the response network tab will tell that what exactly the see events, what is the click event I did, everything can be visible here. So whatever you're going to do, everything can be visible here in this. So whether you click, how many clicks you did, whether right click or left click, which keyboard link you use, whole thing can be handled in this whole developer tools. These developer tools are going to help you to find them. So that's why it is so powerful. So next, performance and memory, these are not, you don't need to worry about much. Okay, these are not going to be that much effective for you. The major things that you need to know is these four elements is for getting the HTML structure. And also, if you see, there are two sections. One is left section, one is right section. So left section is about elements, right section is about CSS. Okay, HTML is the left section, right section is the CSS, and this falls under this which bar? Elements tab. Clear? Next one is the console. For error dashboard we can consider. Source is the source of my web page, and network is will tell what all the calls is happening, what all the responses are getting or sending or receiving response will be handled in this network tab. Okay, these four, never ever forget them. These, okay, and we should learn more about this developer tools even more. Okay, there are many features that you get in this developer. Clear? So that is what you need to know first. So now if you see, as I mentioned, we have started. So even though my page is empty here, but it is not empty coming to my page. Why? Because as I said, there is a default structure. So now let's see what is the default structure of HTML. Okay. As I said, shortcuts. Visual Studio is all about shortcuts. Just imagine we are a fresher and if I told you the shortcut, you will not even consider to learn what is this content is. Okay, tab, press, gone. Okay, train. Okay, body, Manoj Kumar. You'll write your name. You'll not even think about, okay, what is that meta tag or what is the title, what it means. You don't even care. That's why I said. But if you just go with Notepad, you don't get these features. So definitely you need to type by yourself. Okay. So if you see, this is the structure of our HTML. So each and every car have a unique structure, each and every bike has a unique structure, each and every building has its own aperture and structures. In the same way, each and every frameworks have their own structure, and each and every HTML versions also have their own structure. Even though it is a HTML, but previous version will have a different structure. Okay. So, but what makes difference between one version to other version? So this first keyword, for example, whenever I was running in the browser also should know which version we are using. So that's where this first version doc type will come into the picture. So this doc type is nothing but it is the one which yes. So what is this doctor will basically tell is simply to say how, for example, what we can consider. For example, just take a example of signal lights. Okay, red, green, orange. What red will get? Stop. You're not supposed to go green. You're ready to go orange. Get ready to go. Okay. So in the same way, this doctor is nothing but it will tell which version of HTML you are using. It will tell that okay, which particular doc type you are using also. Okay. As soon as I load this file in the HTML, if I save a .html extension, the browser will understand it is a HTML file, but it also should know which version he is particularly using. By seeing the structure automatically latest version they'll consider. But for example, if I tell a person to come from here to BTM, okay, Marthaly to BTM, I just said okay, come BTM to Marthaly, okay, or else Marthaly to BTM, he can come. At the same time, I clearly mention him come to from Martali to BTM Park where I was staying. So it is particularly I was mentioning. So, okay. For example, in the first scenario, he'll come to BTM. Again, he'll call, okay, where are you? He'll tell some location. Again, he'll try to come there. But once he said in the starting stage only, he'll tell, okay, I was in particular location. What happens? The time is automatically here reduced, and you have a clear picture of what exactly and where I need to go. In the same way here, the browser may know it is a HTML file, but we should have to tell it to make it more clear that this particular version I was using. So that can be told by using this doctype HTML keyword. So do you think maybe it's just a word? But no, because if you go with this, if you check the previous version structure, the same doctype line will be written in a different way. But a keyword only, it's just a word. But that word is what making the difference between a one version to other version. Clear? So that is what my doc type will tell. So doc type is nothing but the type of my document and which version of HTML that I was particularly using. So that is how it will work. So next, whenever you are, this is the starting step of every HTML structure. Whenever I create any HTML file, this need to be included. Okay. And nowadays, basically, when you go with the frameworks nowadays they're not mentioning this by default. Okay, because frameworks are considering as the latest version. So, but when you're using with HTML, you're creating, you better don't forget this doc type. So next one, if you see HTML keyword. So if you see the whole thing, whatever the content I write, it considers HTML only. So that is why it was comes under this HTML. This is, yeah. Okay. So HTML is HTML as the whole content of my body, whatever I was writing, it was completely depending under this HTML. So that's why it is called as the, you can call as the one circle of border. Within that border only you're gonna write whatever your code you're writing will fall under this. Okay. So how it will be written? So starting tag will be there and ending tag. This is the structure of writing any tag. In HTML tags will be like this only. So if you simply to say the structure is like tag name, closing bracket, content, and same. I'll get the same, but a forward slash and tag name. So whatever the tag name you started with, you're gonna end with the same tag name. So this is how the structure of a tag will be. Element, I said element previously. So this is what called as one element. So there is a difference between element and a tag. So here, this is a tag, starting tag and ending tag. But this whole thing will be considered as one element. Okay, don't ever get confused between a tag and an element. Tag is will just tell that what is that particular need to do. Okay, element is what complete whole structure of that tags. Okay, so here that is how HTML starting and ending I have. Then I have the next part is the head. So before going to head, if you see when previously when I just given Manoj Kumar and when we check in the browser, so what happened? Where my Manoj name is the text within the body, but is it there within the head? No, right? Because head is simply like a back end and body is just like a front end. Simply to say, head is the car engine, if you say, it is just give the supportability to move the vehicle. The body is what structure, whole thing is nothing but the body. See, whatever you do, like you spray, you put like a cost seats and steering, everything where it will be in. Body only, not in the engine, right? You will not go inside and sit in the engine. You sit in the body. In the same way here. So, hello. Bro. Width will be device width, I guess it will be. Previous, yeah, it will be device width. So what is this device width? This viewport is basically mentioning is that. So first it was considering what is the width of the device it is finding. Okay. So there is a concept called media queries. Okay, on media queries. So particular they're already segregated devices into different categories like small, extra small, medium, large, extra large, double XL, like that. However, clothes are segregated. Devices also segregated in that way. How they are segregated? Based on the width of the screen. For example, mobile will have a less than 500 px. iPad will have a 700 to 900. Small PCs will have 1200 to 1300, 900 to 1200 px width. And if you go with the desktop, it will be 1400 px, and smart TVs more than 1400 px. Like that, it's segregated. Okay. So by seeing that width, the screen width, it will find it okay. If the width is 300, okay, it is a device that is mobile device is using. So I need to convert this website into a, I need to showcase in the device of mobile view, not the desktop view. So initial scale where it start 1 point, that means starting point to any scale, it need to what we say that initial scale where it need to start the measuring the width of the screen. Initial scale, right? I can't measure from here to here and mention that okay, it's a mobile or it's a device. So I need to start from initial point to end point, right? So that can be mentioned by this meta tag. As I said, meta tag is what? It is like a tag that helpful for different features. Switch on the light. Okay, so this meta tag is what? Just help me to use different features. I can maybe tomorrow I can use for other things. If you go with Amazon here, if you see meta tags, they may have used for many things. See, chart set it is common for anything. And then if you see there is a HTTP equivalent, there is they given some other feature they use meta tag. And what else? Where else they use for C? For this also they use one meta tag. So meta tag, as I said, it is just about different features it can use. You can use it anywhere. Meta is just a like a keyword which will help you to add a feature of to the particular web application. Okay. So now these are the two important meta tags that you must and should have to include into your HTML file whenever you create in your structure. So next third one is the document title. The title is nothing but which tell you name of your portal. So now if you see what is the name of our page? What is the name of our page? Introduction node HTML, right? So for example, not this one, I guess. This is the one. See document. Okay, document is the name. For example, I can make it like so now what is the name of the file? Tag. So the title is nothing but it will mention what is your particular tab or web application title. Okay, for example, if you see here, it is like Amazon.in, right? So let us search for title. There is the title here. See Amazon.in, the value store is there. So I can make it like yours title. If you see what is the title there. So that is what the title is that which defines the name of our web application. Okay. So next body is nothing but the way we can write our content. So whatever I write, okay, so this whole thing can be visible into my body. It's clear. So this is what about the basic structure of our develop tool. So what all we discussed today? We discussed about how to create the particular files and how to access those files and where this need to be run and how the structure of HTML will be there and what are the version and also what is the basic structure of HTML file. Okay. So in the Monday session, we're going to discuss about what are the advanced features we got in HTML file and also we're going to start with the HTML tags topic. Clear? Is anybody have any doubts so far till now? అర్థమైందా ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా ఎనీబడి హ్యావ్ ఎనీ డౌట్స్ ఆల్ ఆర్ క్లియర్ okay so this is what about basic HTML so I'll try to upload yesterday's session and today's session to YouTube now today okay and share the link so whoever enrolled I guess they're in WhatsApp group I guess in that there are in the description I'll add the link try to access from there and try to check if you have any doubts clear thank you guys you can leave